Did you know that in 2025, there are countries that American citizens either can't enter at all or face extreme difficulty trying to? Whether due to political tensions, safety concerns, or diplomatic breakdowns, some nations have effectively shut their doors. Stick around until the end because last one will shock you. It's a country you probably never expected to see on this list. Let's jump right into 10 countries where Americans are not allowed or barely allowed in 2025. Number 10. Yemen. Yemen is enduring one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, exacerbated by war, famine, and disease. The Houthi rebellion, Saudi-led intervention, and U.S. drone involvement have all contributed to the chaos. For Americans, Yemen is a high-risk no-go zone. As of 2025, there are 0 safe regions for travel. Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula and other militant groups operate freely, targeting foreigners for ransom or propaganda. The U.S. Embassy in Sana'a remains closed. Even humanitarian workers struggle to obtain permission to enter Yemen. The risks are simply too great, and unless you're on a high-level diplomatic or emergency mission, you're not getting in. Number 9. Iran. Iran and the United States have had a turbulent relationship for decades. The 1979 Iranian Revolution and subsequent hostage crisis severed formal diplomatic ties. Today, in 2025, the situation has not improved. In fact, it's deteriorated. After the failed nuclear negotiations and continued U.S. sanctions, Iran began denying more U.S. visa applications. U.S. citizens are now required to apply through a third country, must travel as part of a government-approved tour, and are often denied for vague national security reasons. The Iranian government has increased surveillance of foreign tourists, and any contact with locals or photography in sensitive areas can be grounds for detention. The risks are real, and Americans are repeatedly warned not to travel there unless necessary. Number 8. Syria. Syria has been a war zone since 2011. Despite shifts in territorial control, the country remains fragmented and highly dangerous. The Assad regime does not recognize U.S. legitimacy in the region, and Americans are viewed with extreme suspicion. In 2025, the civil war is still ongoing in pockets across the country, and the presence of armed groups, including extremist factions, poses a significant threat. There is no functioning U.S. embassy, and the government provides no support to American citizens. If you were somehow able to enter Syria, which requires a near impossible visa, you'd be risking arrest, kidnapping, or worse. Many aid workers have been detained, and journalists have disappeared without a trace. It's one of the most dangerous destinations for any traveler, especially Americans. Number 7. Cuba. Cuba is not exactly banned, but travel there for U.S. citizens is heavily regulated. The U.S. embargo established in the 1960s still limits tourism. As of 2025, Americans can only visit under 12 specific travel categories, such as educational, family visits, or humanitarian work. Pure tourism is strictly prohibited under U.S. law. Booking a beach resort in Varadero or enjoying a casual vacation is illegal for Americans. U.S. credit cards and bank cards don't work there, and travelers must keep detailed logs of their activities for 5 years. Tensions between the two countries remain high, especially after cyber interference allegations and political crackdowns on protesters in Havana. While flights are operational, Cuba remains a legally tricky and diplomatically cold destination for U.S. travelers. Number 6. Venezuela. Venezuela is a beautiful country rich in natural wonders, but it's deeply entangled in political chaos. In 2019, the U.S. closed its embassy and recognized opposition leader Juan Guaidó over Nicolás Maduro. leading to a diplomatic freeze that persists today. As of 2025, it's incredibly difficult for U.S. citizens to get tourist visas. The Maduro government is hostile toward American media and NGOs. Several U.S. citizens have been detained under accusations of espionage or subversion. Due to hyperinflation, crime, and political instability, the U.S. State Department has a Level 4 Do Not Travel advisory. Even if you're allowed in, the risks far outweigh the rewards. Americans are strongly urged to stay away for their safety. Number 5. Saudi Arabia. Technically, Americans can visit Saudi Arabia, but the kingdom remains one of the most challenging destinations in terms of cultural restrictions. In 2025, all travelers must obtain a visa in advance, and strict rules apply, especially for women. Unmarried couples can be denied accommodation, alcohol is completely banned, and public behavior is heavily monitored. Solo female travelers under 25 may need a male guardian. LGBTQ+ individuals face legal repercussions, and religious freedom is extremely limited. The murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018 still casts a shadow over U.S.-Saudi relations. Although diplomatic ties exist, the cultural and political divide is stark. Americans traveling here need to exercise extreme caution and full cultural sensitivity. Number 4. Turkmenistan. Welcome to one of the world's most isolated countries, Turkmenistan. Often compared to North Korea in terms of state control, Turkmenistan keeps a tight grip on who can enter. For Americans, getting a visa is a bureaucratic labyrinth. Visitors need an official letter of invitation from a government-approved travel agency. Even then, entry is often denied without explanation. If you do get in, you'll be constantly monitored, and movement outside the capital requires official permission. As of 2025, President Serdar Berdimuhamedow has continued many of his father's authoritarian policies. Independent journalism is banned, foreign press is restricted, and access to information is tightly controlled. Don't expect to find free Wi-Fi or freedom of expression. Number 3. Libya. Libya might be rich in history and home to some of the most stunning ancient sites in North Africa, but it remains deeply unstable. Following the 2011 fall of Gaddafi, rival factions have competed for control, leading to violence and lawlessness. The U.S. Embassy was evacuated years ago, and diplomatic missions are now handled through third-party nations. As of 2025, Americans are officially advised not to travel to Libya due to terrorism, crime, civil unrest, and kidnapping risks. Most visa applications from Americans are denied unless for business, and even then, they require a Libyan sponsor. Tourists have virtually disappeared from the country. Until stability returns, Libya remains closed for most U.S. citizens. Number 2. North Korea. Imagine a country so isolated that even your passport can't get you in. North Korea is one of the most restricted nations for Americans. Since 2017, the U.S. government has banned its citizens from traveling there due to serious risks of arrest and long-term detention. Exceptions are rare and typically only granted for specific humanitarian reasons. North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, has been off-limits to Americans since 2017. After the tragic death of Otto Warmbier, a U.S. student detained and later returned in a coma, the U.S. State Department imposed an outright travel ban. As of 2025, this ban remains firmly in place, renewed annually due to imminent danger to U.S. citizens. The regime under Kim Jong-un continues to be one of the most secretive and authoritarian in the world, offering zero tolerance for perceived foreign interference. Only a few humanitarian workers and journalists are granted special exemptions, and even then, under tight supervision. There are no U.S. diplomatic relations or consular support in case of arrest, which is why North Korea tops our list. Number 1. China. Here's one that might surprise you: China, specifically Tibet. In April 2025, China imposed new visa sanctions against certain U.S. officials and tightened entry rules to the Tibetan Autonomous Region. Access to Tibet has long been controlled. But now, U.S. citizens, especially those affiliated with NGOs, academia, or journalism, face visa delays or outright bans. China accuses the U.S. of interfering in internal affairs after the U.S. passed legislation demanding open access to Tibet. If you're an American applying to visit Lhasa or Mount Everest's North Base Camp, don't be surprised if your application is mysteriously lost. Political sensitivities and surveillance are higher than ever. Even if allowed in, expect constant monitoring. As we've seen, several countries have imposed strict travel bans or restrictions on American citizens in 2025. Whether due to political tensions, security concerns, or diplomatic policies, these nations remain largely inaccessible to U.S. travelers. Always check the latest travel advisories and requirements before planning your international trips. If you found this video informative, smash that like button, subscribe for more travel content, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Got any countries you'd be afraid to visit? Drop them in the comments below.